me romance. Read me romance. Read me romance. Read me romance. You could take a look in a book, that's fine. Or you could sit back, relax, and unwind and read me romance. Read me romance.
Welcome back, lady listeners.
Hey, lady listeners. Oh my God, I cannot believe that this is the first book of 2024, or that it's even 2024.
I know.
Like, I can't believe we're doing this again.
It feels like it's been forever.
It has been. I swear, I was like telling my husband earlier, I was like, oh, I got to record the podcast tonight. He was like, I haven't heard you say that in a while. And I was like, I have not. I was like, I'm pretty sure the last time that you and I recorded together was like November, because
Damn,
like,
it's been that long.
Yeah, because like stuff ended up happening, and I was like, well, I'll just record the last 2 episodes of the year real quick, by myself. I'll just like knock it out. I'll do like the 30-second intro, and we'll play the audio.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
We just had so much going on like towards the end of the year where I was like, I'll just do these real quick, and then we'll be done until next year. And now it's February, so which is crazy. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a hot minute. But, minus a few computer setbacks, I think we figured out.
Oh my God, we are like 45 minutes behind.
I know. But they don't need to know all that. That's the TV magic. But seriously, welcome back. We are kicking off this year on the Read Me Romance podcast. Alexa Riley is with our book that I just forgot the name of.
A Valentine to Remember.
That's it. Yes, it's a Valentine to remember. So I forgot it because I just had to name it really quick when I sent it to the narrator, because we didn't have a name when we wrote the book. We were just like, oh, it's like if you read Snowed In with Scrooge, if you read that book and you liked it, this is the kids in that book. It's them grown up. So for those of you who have asked about it, this is their story, and we're really excited. But like, when we made the document, I think I just put like Scrooge kids. And so like I sent it to the narrator, and she was like, what's the book? And I was like, I was like, shit. I like just panicked. And I was like, it's a Valentine book, a Valentine to remember. And then I forgot. So yeah, that's what you're going to hear today. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But, yeah, there's been a lot that happened since we've talked, but I'm going to try to stay focused and talk about the books that I've read since we've been on break, because I did read a bunch of books. So the first one that I read that I would love to recommend, if you have a not great relationship with food, if you have ever done like a diet or a diet program or plan, if you have been in diet culture, whether it's like, it's had a positive, negative effect, anything like that, there's a book. It's called Diet Starts Monday. And do you know the Great British Baking Show? Do you know what I'm talking? You know that show? Okay. I don't know if you'd ever watched it, but I thought maybe you had heard of it. But so there was a contestant on there back in 2020, and her name is Laura, and I think how you say her last name is Adlington. I think that's how you say it. Adlington. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's Aldington. Laura Adlington. But she was a contestant on there, and she was like one of the first women that I saw that was like, she looks like me. Tall, big, like just a lot of personality, really fun, but just like a big woman, takes up space, like that kind of person. Yeah. And I just loved watching her because she was just so unapologetic about herself, about like she was covered in like chocolate one episode, because she would just take her hands and just wipe them on her apron, and she was like, I'm just a messy baker, I don't care, like this is me, and it was like, I just loved her, watching her. So I followed her on social media, and she is like, I just love her presence on there. She does like a lot of like style, like lifestyle blogs, clothing, stuff like that. And we have a similar body type. So I like seeing the clothes that she wears and stuff that she picks. She's really cute. Anyways, so the book she wrote is called Diet Starts Monday. And she just talks a lot about like what diet culture like did to her growing up, like and then how she's kind of gotten over that and learned to live in a bigger body and not apologize for it. And I don't even think you need to be a plus size person or a fat person or a big whatever whatever like frame of reference you need. I just thought like it really is about self-love and about how diet culture can put these preconceived notions in our head and how we look at other people and the things we say that we don't even think about because they're so ingrained in us. But one of the first things she says in the book was the way you look is the least interesting thing about you. And that's like the opening of it. And I was just like, okay, all right, let's go from here. Let's see how this is.
And
And
it kind of is if you really think about it.
absolutely.
If you really think about it, it is the least interesting thing.
Yeah. But hearing that, like I would have never had that thought until hearing her say those words. And she narrates the book herself. So it's really beautiful. But and there's a lot of it. Oh my God. So one part, she does these little things at the end of each chapter. She's like, I'm going to give you an action plan. And then, and it's like one of the first chapters, she's like, write a letter to your body. Like, what would you say to your body if you could talk to it directly? Maybe apologize for like some of the hateful things you've said before, or embrace the things that it's been able to give you. Like,
I went to anger and my bowel system.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to get that shit worked out.
Literally. But there's like, she's like, well, I'm going to read you the letter I wrote myself as an example. And there's one part where she talks about, she's like, I have wanted to take scissors to you and cut away the parts I hated. And then she's like, because she's talking about how she hated herself so much in her body when she was younger. And then at the end of it, it's so sad, but she's like, and I don't know if I'll ever forgive you for not letting me have children.
Aww.
I know, it's like, it's so like that part's really sad, but there's so much of this book that is really beautiful. And like just when I read it, I was like, same. Like, and I've always felt like I'm pretty confident in my body and I'm pretty confident in the way I see myself, and I take up space, and I like that I'm tall, and I like that I'm big. And you know, but there's still so much in it that I didn't really understand until she was saying it out loud. Like one part in particular, she says, she said, I always felt like I had to look nice and be presentable as an apology for being fat. She was like, so that way, if you look at me and you see my makeup's done, my hair's done, I have nice clothes on, I'm wearing a dress, I look really pretty. She was like, you won't think I'm a fat piece of shit. And I was just like, oh my God, like a lot of what she said, like, you know, it just resonated with me. So I just thought it was the first book I read this year, and I just thought it was a good way to kick off the year, especially when there's so many like, you know, diet things that are being thrown at you. And I actually sent it to my friend Abby Knox, the writer. I sent it to her because we've talked about it a lot, and she read it and she texted me back and she was like, one of the things that I took away from it was that my body is not up for discussion. That when people see me to comment like, oh, you look like you've lost weight, or, you know, or like, oh, are you doing okay? Or like, you know, what kind of, are you, you know, that kind of, she was just saying like that people around me aren't allowed to talk about my body.
Yeah.
And she was like, I just never realized how much I let that happen, and how like, she said, I don't know that I needed permission, but it felt like I kind of got it when I was reading this book, where it's like, no, people don't get to talk about your body. That's the end of it. Like, that's not a subject that's up for debate. And so I really like that portion of it as well. So, but yeah, there was a lot of it about, you know, especially the whole like, oh, you look like you've lost weight. There's a lady on TikTok that I saw a video one time. Her name's Erin, and I can't remember her last name right off the top of my head. But she was saying that she had a friend she hadn't seen in a while, and she ran into her. She was like, oh my God, like you've lost so much weight. You look great. Like, what are you doing? And her friend was like, oh, just eating Cheetos, you know, or whatever. And she was like, girl, keep it up. You look awesome. And she was like, then like a week later, I found out she, you know, died by suicide. She killed herself. And she said it was like she was actually like super depressed and was addicted to like some kind of like, you know, substance. And she said that's what ended up taking her life. And she said that's why she had lost all the weight. And she was like, and I felt horrible because she was like, obviously I didn't know,
Yeah.
but she said all I could think was how many other people told her how amazing she looked because she had lost all this weight, you know? And
Because
I
you
was just
don't
like,
know why
shit.
people lose weight.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah. So that was like, you know, another thing is like, this doesn't need to be a topic of conversation, like losing weight, gaining weight, and then food being good or bad. She was like, people talked all around me my entire life about, oh, I was really good today, or I was really bad today, or this food's good, this food's bad. She was like, food is not good and bad. The way you eat is not good and bad. She was like, we need to take that out of our vocabulary. And she was like, it's just food. You're just eating. Like, if you keep associating good and bad, then that's all you're going to do in your life is like try to make things black and white with food and how you eat.
Yeah.
And I just really appreciate it. So, anyways, I'll get off my soapbox now. But that was a great book. It's called Diet Starts Monday by Laura Adlington. Definitely check it out if you're interested in that at all. So it was a good one. I have a bunch more. Did you have anything you wanted to read or that you read?
You know, I knew you were going to ask me that, and I was like,
know.
I hate fucking Kindle Unlimited because I did.
Oh yeah.
Then, like, it returns shit.
Yeah.
But at the moment,
said you can look.
What?
I thought somebody said there was a way to go back and look.
Yeah,
like you do it on the desktop or something.
Yeah, I have to go look it up, and then it always takes me like 20 minutes to figure out how to do it again. Yes. I actually read the whole series of Sam Crescent's Killer Kings.
Ooh.
It's about a bunch of hitmen, and it's dark and bloody, but I think they're all safe. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's been really good. I'm actually on the last one. I didn't want to stop reading. I was reading it before we came. Nice. And then what else did I read? I read The Teacher of Nothing, which it came out forever ago. It had a great cover. Do you remember that one?
No. It's called The Teacher of Nothing?
Yeah, it's by Kay Webster. Do you remember this cover?
Mm-mm. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah.
And he's just obsessed with one of his students.
Of course he is.
And it's hot, though. It's really good. And she's like, you know, having a shitty home life. And there's all this drama that plays out and stuff. But I enjoyed it. It actually got me searching to read longer books again.
Well, I was going to say, I actually had like coffee with Abby Knox this morning and a friend of ours. And she was telling me about a book she read that's kind of a dark romance. And I haven't read it, but she was telling me, and I was like, this sounds like something Mel would like. And it's called Mercy by Deborah Anastasia. Have you heard of this one?
I don't think so.
Okay, so she says, like, it starts off, I think this guy has like a skeleton tattoo all over his whole body. Like, he's tattooed his whole entire body to look like a skeleton. Jesus. And it's like some kind of like I can't say it. The Day of the Dead. Like, it's that kind of party. And I think he goes to it and he meets this girl there. And she was like, you find out pretty soon in the book, she was like, this isn't a spoiler. As far as I know, if you don't want to know anything about it, fast forward just in case, because I haven't read the book. She was just telling me. She said that this guy has like been obsessed with her since she was young, and he's like kind of done like this her whole life. He's sort of orchestrated it, and he's created like this app.
It's got the skeleton on him on the cover.
Yes. Okay. So she said that he created this app because she plays on it and like sends her stuffed animals or something. And I think he has like cameras in them. And so she has like bunches of them all over her house so he can watch her. But he created this app, and I think she doesn't know that she's the only one playing it. But he did it like just for her because he's obsessed with her. And I was like, why do I feel like Mel would love this book?
I know. I'm like I'm looking it up, guys. And there is an audiobook for it too.
Okay, good. You're going to have to listen to it and let me know. Because she was telling me about it today. And I was like, that sounds really good. And she was like, yeah, so far I really like it. So
no, I'm intrigued. Even the covers, like, super interesting. It looks super dark though.
Yeah, I know. She said it's dark, but it's Mercy by Deborah Anastasia. Not sure how to say it, but yeah, that's the one. So check that out. Another book I read, if you want a dirty romance, is The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson. She wrote another one that I read last year. She wrote shite. What is the name of it? Hold on. The Nanny. I talked about that one where like she was the one that did like OnlyFans, and like the guy was on there and they got really close and she ended up shutting her account down or whatever.
Yeah, I
And
remember
then
that.
like he hired her as a babysitter, and then it was like she found that it was him. So anyways, so this book is called The Fate Mate by the same author, Lana Ferguson. And this book is the first book I've read that has nodding in it. Have you heard about this? Like nodding. He's a shifter. Like they're
I've read
shifters.
Nodding.
Okay, so I have not like read that specific kind of thing. Like I've heard
Yes, you have.
well, I've read those kind of things like with, new species and stuff. But this is like specifically referred to as nodding in the book, and it's the kink is in it. Like that's like part of the book is like it's kind of that's the reason you read it is for that kink. So I'd never read a book that was specifically for that. So anyways, it's really good. They're both doctors at a hospital, and he needs a wife because he's an alpha, and apparently like alpha wolves are supposed to be like really dangerous and stuff, and they're not supposed to be like, people are scared to hire them to work there, so or unmated alphas. And so he like has kind of like this this other doctor that's there, she hates him, so it's a little bit enemies to lovers and marriage of convenience kind of thing, but it's also like mating, and like it's really cool. So it was dirty. It was so dirty. It was really fun. Quick read. The audio was great. So there's that one. And I also read the autobiography of Leslie Jones. Do you know who she is? The comedian. She's like the really tall black lady that was she's a comedian, but she was on SNL forever.
Yes.
She did the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah, she like did the Olympics on TikTok and that kind of thing. So, but anyways, my friend LB, who she sings the theme song for the podcast. So she has been telling me forever. She was like, you've got to read. She was like, you've got to listen to her audiobook. And I was like, really? Is it that good? And she was like, it's phenomenal. And I wouldn't have, like, she would have never been somebody, like, I love her. I love watching her. I think she's funny as shit. I just never would have thought like her autobiography would be anything that was super moving. But when she reads this book, she is so funny and heartfelt when she's doing it, because she's like, okay, this isn't in the book, but I'm just going to tell you what happened here. And then she just starts talking. I swear to God, I think the audiobook is like 300 pages longer than the actual book, because she's just talking in it.
That's amazing.
And it's so good.
I love that she goes off script.
Oh, yeah. The whole time she's off script. She's like, listen, this motherfucker did this. This motherfucker did that. Like, just motherfucker this, motherfucker that. But, and I love it, too, because she grew up in the South. So she has like that. She has a great accent, too. But anyways, but there is a lot of it, too, that was really emotional when she was talking about her mom and her dad passing, and her brother as well. Like there were 4 of them, like her nuclear family, and she lost all 3. She lost her parents and her brother before she was like 40.
Jesus.
Yeah. So like, I mean, she was really young. And one part when she's talking about her mom had a stroke when she was like 30 or something like that. She was very young. And she was like, my mom had a stroke. It was my first year in college. My dad was an alcoholic. Like, and he was like, he's coming in, he's yelling at me, and like, you're not doing this, don't talk back to me, blah, blah. And she's like, I just wanted to yell at him. I know you're hurting. I know you're hurting. I'm hurting too. We're all hurting. And she just starts sobbing as she's recording this. And you can just, like, I started crying because I'm hearing her cry, because it's so, but it, as she's talking about it, and I thought, you would never get this experience reading that book.
Yeah.
Versus listening to it. And there's a part in the beginning that's really, there's really sad, really hard to hear, but I was just so moved that she included it in the book. And, I don't want to go too much into it because it's really sad, but now I would just say, if you're interested at all in like, if you like her at all, if something like you like autobiographies, She's got a great audiobook. I would recommend that over the actual book so much more, just because of how great the audio narration is. So that one was just, it was a 20 out of 10 for me. That's probably my favorite book I've read this year so far.
Oh, wow.
And it was, it was a totally different experience. It was unexpected and really emotionally beautiful. And even in the start of it, she says, she's like, I was, I think she didn't get on SNL till she was 40 something. Like she was in her mid 40s, I think, before she got on SNL. And that was really like kind of a big break for her. And she was like, before that, I had been doing comedy for like 20 years. And she said, I just said to myself, like, girl, what are we doing? What the fuck are we going to do? What are we doing? And I'm just listening to it and I was like, yeah, like, what are we doing? It was just, there was a lot of it that I was like, yeah, I feel that, So it was just a great perspective. I just loved hearing about her. So the name of the book is Leslie fucking Jones. So go do that one. So, all right. And I have one more that I want to recommend too. And this one, I finished it today. I finished it this morning when I was dropping my kids off at school. I didn't play it till after they got out of the car because it's kind of fucked up. So this book is called Ask for Andrea by Noelle West Healy. I think it's how you say the last name. I think it's IHLI. But Ask for Andrea. It is such an interesting concept. It's not a romance at all. It's about these three young women who have been murdered by a serial killer, and it is their like spirit, and it's them telling their story as they like their murders get solved, and it's from their perspective. The whole book is from the three of them, and one of them follows the murderer. One of them is like there and then with a cop, and the other one stays with her family. And it's all of them, and they're all at different times. Like one of them's like 2 years ago, one of them's 1 year ago, one of them's present day. So, but they're all telling the story like linearly. Yeah. So, but anyways, it is such a cool concept. And I was like, oh, this is different. Like I had a friend of mine that recommended it to me. She was like, I know you like thrillers and crime novels and stuff. And she was like, this one was really good. I liked it. And it was definitely a nail biter up until the very end, like on the edge of my seat kind of thing. Like it was so good. And at the end of it, I told her, I was like, man, that was great. I said, but I wish I would have had da 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 da. And she was like, go to the author's website. If you sign up for her newsletter, you get an extended epilogue for the book. And I was like, she got me. She fucking got me, because I went and did it. I went and signed up for this author's newsletter so I could get the extended epilogue. And it was perfect. I was like, that's exactly what I needed. That was exactly what I needed at the end of this book. And it was awesome. So I would say if the audio was really good on it, but if it's an ebook, grab that. But it was a really neat story as far as like it was a thinker, and you know who the killer is right away, but you're still trying to figure out how is he going to get caught? Like, he's already killed these women. So it wasn't kind of like a guessing, like who did it kind of thing. It was like, how are they going to catch him? Like they need to hurry up. He's going to do this to somebody else, this kind of thing. So that was a really cool part of the story. So it wasn't like, oh, that I figured it out like page 1, it wasn't that kind of mystery to where it didn't let me down. So,
yeah.
But anyways, that one was a good one. So, and then up next, I've got When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. I've heard this is like a dark romance that's or romantic suspense, kind of like Katie Rios. So, who we're going to have on the podcast this year.
Been trying that forever.
For like 6 years, no big deal. So, anyways, I know we have talked a while, but I have a lady listener email before we get into all the good stuff. We have a spam folder, and I try to go in there once a week and check it because there's usually about 500 emails in there a week. So I go through and I try to do my best to skim, and every now and then I will find one that is actually not spam and pull it out. And this was one of them. So I won't say her name just in case. Let's see. I have been waiting to write this letter for a while now, but I was not sure how to word it. I'm 54 years old and have a somewhat normal life as a nurse and raised 4 children. Now I'm disabled with a genetic disability, a form of muscular dystrophy, and I live in a nursing home. I feel very out of place, and I'm having a lot of trouble adjusting to the fact that normal life is over. So now that I have found Read Me Romance podcast, I'm now a lady listener. Listening to you guys every day, I am actually a normal person and a valuable part of something instead of being a patient and just some work to be done and never part of the caregiver's conversation or lunch plans, etc. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I just wanted to let you know how very important this is to me. Thank you very much. Even though I can't support the podcast any kind of financially, I wanted you guys to know how important listening to your banter and feeling like I'm part of the conversation and not an outsider has done and meant for me. Love you guys. Keep up the good work, lady listener. Jay. I'll just say the letter J.
Aw.
Some of the sweetest. I know, it was so nice. Like when I read that, I was just like, my heart just ached. I wish I could give her a hug, you know? But I just thought this was, a great reminder to say, like, I completely understand that you do not have to support us financially, anyone. Just listening means so much. Like listening, clicking like on the social media, subscribing to the newsletter, like those are free things you can do that don't cost you anything. And it means a ton to us. Like it helps us continue the podcast just by doing those simple things. But honestly, just listening and being here with us, like we love that. And it was really sweet to know that we've made a difference in somebody's life that doesn't feel like they really have any sort of outside recourse. So yeah, so that meant a lot. So thank you so much for writing that. You're a sweet lady listener. We love it. So let's talk about our shit now. So we've got, oh God, A Valentine to Remember is what you're about to listen to, but in just a second. I did want to mention we have some print books that'll be up for sale soon on our website. We're doing like a new set of prints. So make sure you follow us on social media to have that. And then we have a new release that's coming up too soon. And I've forgotten the name of that book as well that we are currently
Betting on her?
Yeah, I think that's
Betting
on her. Yes. So that one's coming up soon. This book that you're listening to now will be available in ebook. And we have a book that's on sale as well, right?
Oh, you said for free earlier.
Oh,
so I
free.
didn't know.
Okay. Yes. That's fine.
Struck by Cupid.
Oh, yeah. When Cupid Gets Struck. That's the one we had on the podcast last year for Valentine's Day. But that's our other Valentine's book. We'll put that one for free too. So, okay. Is that everything?
I think that's
okay.
everything.
I was like, please don't let me forget because I literally have like post-it or
I feel like there's
index
so
cards
much, but I can't remember anything.
No, and it's like we haven't done this in so long, and I feel like a ton of shit's happened, and I'm like, I just made notes on what books I read, so I would talk about that first. So next week, I don't know. We're gonna go to TV shows.
Actually,
I got a list of those.
I watched one of your Hunger Game movies in the theater.
Oh, yeah. That's the Ballad of Songbird and Snakes.
Yeah.
The narration on that is incredible. If you listen to the audio, the narration is perfect. But I will say they stuck to that book. I mean, it's a 3-hour movie, but they hit all the high notes from the book in the movie. I didn't feel like there was anything that was missing.
I was mesmerized by the heroine.
Oh my God, I love her. Lucy Graybeard. Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah. It's awesome. I thought the whole cast was fantastic. Viola Davis, man, she was fan-fucking-tastic in that. So, yeah, it was good. That was a good one. So, okay. Well, we're going to talk about movies and TV next week, I guess. So, let's send them to the book, right?
Yep. We'll see you guys on the other side.
Bye.
This is A Valentine to Remember by Alexa Riley. Read for you by Avi Page. Chapter 1. Mina. Do you think this is enough? I think you made more than enough cookies for the whole town. My dad laughs, placing the last basket of cookies I made into the back of my car. There a reason you made so many? He shuts the car door and leans up against the side of it. Everyone knows when I get upset, I bake.
I know you're not nervous about your new job.
I'm not. I'm excited. I love Brightberry. This town is the only home I remember. In fact, my first memory that I can recall is the night my dad found my mom and me. We likely would have become frozen popsicles if he hadn't spotted us on the side of the road. Technically, Naya is my sister, but she was always more of a mother to me. But she and Fraser made it official when they adopted me, and Brightberry has been our home ever since. After Mom and Dad had 3 boys that I utterly adore, our family has been my world. Sticking close to home has been my plan, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm not sure if my past plays a part in that since I had shitty birth parents. Thankfully, I don't remember them. With the exception of the 2 months I spent in the city getting trained as a dispatch and 911 operator, I've spent my whole life in Brightberry. Even when I was in the city, I still came home every week, but now that it's over, I'm home permanently. I've started the next chapter of my life, and my new job isn't going to be the only adventure I'm embarking on. I have other plans, and no one is going to stand in the way of them.
Then what's with all the cookies?
Dad taps the top of my car to get my attention. I didn't see you complaining about how many I made when you were eating them last night.
I had 4,
he says, and I lift a brow. We both know he's full of it.
Okay, 8,
he admits sheepishly, making me smile. I should get going, I tell him so he can't keep trying to get more information out of me. He pulls me in for a hug, telling me this conversation isn't over, but he's letting me pretend it is. The last thing I want to talk to my dad about is Aspen. He's the boy who has owned my heart since he let me destroy him with snowballs as a little girl and never threw one back. When we were kids, he shared all his toys with me. Then when we got older, I tried to share my first kiss with him. It's too bad that it went terribly wrong because it's been horrible ever since. Now I'm starting to wonder if maybe he was right about turning me down. Since I tried to kiss him, things have been awkward, and it's not as though I can avoid Aspen. He's my adopted father's nephew, and our family is always together. Even though we grew up in the same family, I never thought of him that way. Since I can remember, I always had a giant crush on Aspen. I might also love him. Oh, who am I kidding? Of course I'm head over heels in love with him, but it's never going to happen. The one time I tried to kiss him already made things messy and awkward. I never thought that he and I being together could be bad, but maybe it could destroy our family. Another part of me thinks that ship has sailed. It would kill me if Aspen ever brought a girl home. Since our town is so small, I'll likely know her. Everyone knows everyone, and it will be awful. Trying to put all those thoughts out of my head, I drive into town and focus on my first day. It doesn't take me long, and when I pull into the police station, I see all the firemen outside playing basketball. That's when I see Bex is leaning up against her ambulance watching the show. It might be cold out, but that doesn't stop a few of the firemen from going without shirts. "Can a girl get a hand?" I call when I step out of my car and all their heads swing my way. "I've got cookies." "Why are you ruining my show?" Bex huffs with a laugh. "You can have some cookies too." Bex is a few years older than me and was in the same grade as Aspen.
Your first day on the job and you're already spoiling us? Ryan says when he makes it over to me first.
I had some time on my hands, I tell him, and then open my back door. At least take 2 inside for me. Everyone can fight over the rest. Then I stand back and let them clear everything out for me.
Not sure why you got so much time on your hands. I could help you with that,
Ryan suggests, and I'm not sure if he's teasing or not. He's always been a giant flirt.
Heads up,
one of the other firemen mutters. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the sheriff's black SUV pull in. We only have 2 of these vehicles in town, and one belongs to Angela, who is about to retire. Hers, however, is white, while the black one belongs to Aspen. I knew when I got this job that not only would we be running into each other, but we'd have to spend a lot of our days in communication, which is something we haven't done in a while. Since the failed kiss, I avoid Aspen the best I can, but he always manages to pop up, even when I was training in the city. I'm sure it's him trying to watch out for me, and not because of why I wish he wanted to be around me. A few years ago, I thought him chasing the opposite sex away from me and showing up out of nowhere was kind of hot. I thought maybe he was jealous and wanted to show everyone that I was his. Oh, how wrong I'd been. He might as well be one of my brothers. Gross. There is nothing brotherly about the way I see Aspen. Why heads up?
I raise my chin and stare up at Ryan while pretending I don't know Aspen is headed right towards me. You scared of the sheriff? You really want to play with fire? He smirks down at me, and I shrug. I guess if anyone could teach me how, it would be you. That's enough. Aspen's voice booms across the parking lot. Oh, I think I like this new show better, I hear Bex snicker. What's enough? I ask innocently as I turn my gaze to Aspen. I wish I didn't have a thing for men in uniform, but then again, I've only ever had a thing for him, which is what I'm currently trying to get over. Get inside. Betty is waiting for you, Aspen orders as his hand goes to my hip to push me towards the police station. I've had enough of his interruptions, so I smack his hand away. I'll see you all later, I call to the fireman. I'm done caring if I get burned. I'm not a little girl anymore, and it's time Aspen learns to understand that. Chapter 2. Aspen. You know, I've heard that scowling can lead to premature wrinkles, Angela says, but I'm not really paying her any attention. I make some kind of sound of acknowledgement, but don't turn away from the window. And lower your sperm count. Is all I say, because I don't like how close Marshall is to the dispatch board. Sure, he's 97 years old, but I don't like the way he's smiling at Mina. I also heard Mina has a date this weekend. What? Now that got my attention. I whip around in my chair so fast it nearly topples over, but I manage to catch myself on the desk at the last second. Angela is tying red ribbon around the package on her desk and grabs the scissors to curl the ends of it. You didn't know? I think that young firefighter, what's his name? Ryan? Yeah, I think he asked her out. It's Valentine's. I say it like it's a murder scene, which means it should be the obvious reason she's not going on a date with him. Yeah. Angela looks at me like I'm crazy and holds up the present. It's what people do on Valentine's. Well, I guess people who have the balls to ask out the person they're in love with. I don't know what you're talking about. My eyes narrow in a scowl as I turn my chair away from Angela and go back to glaring out the window. Remind me how many more days there are until you retire. Maybe you should go back to your own office and count. She laughs at her own joke. We both know why I'm in here all the time, and it's not because I want her office. It's because from this little window you can see directly to the dispatch desk where Mina is working. She's been here for over a week now, and every moment since she started working here has been the worst of my life. Or maybe also the best, because I get to see her so much. Either way, she doesn't seem to understand the literal hell she's putting me through. Just then, Mina gets up from her desk, and I take a long look at her ass. She's got on a tight skirt today that was hidden by an oversized cardigan. She must have gotten hot and taken the cardigan off, because now I can see the flare of her hips and how lush her curves are. Isn't there some kind of dress code? I say, and realize that I didn't mean to speak that part out loud. Either way, Mina is in violation of something. When she turns around, all I can think about is her sweet little pussy she's keeping tight between those thick thighs. A pretty young thing like her shouldn't have to hide those curves. I'm going to tell Sarah you said that, I threaten without turning back to Angela. Pfft, she scoffs like I made a joke. She appreciates something nice to look at just as much as I do. God damn it, I hiss under my breath. Can't everyone just take their eyes off my fucking girl? Is it so hard for people to back the fuck off? Okay, so she's not mine, but Angela damn well knows how I feel. She's probably the only person on this planet who knows just how in love I am with Mina, and she also knows why I can't do anything about it. Aspen, Angela says, and I sigh before meeting her eyes. When I do, she looks at me with sympathy. I know you think you can't follow your heart, but life is short. You should know that better than anyone. Before I can respond, she grabs the little box off her desk and tucks it in her coat pocket. I'm headed home to give my wife an early Valentine's Day present. At my age, I've learned a valuable lesson. What's that? I ask, unable to shake the sinking feeling in my chest. Don't wait for the right moment. Make the moment right, she says, and then gives me a little salute before she grabs her hat and leaves for the day. Great. Now I have to sit here alone to deal with my emotions when all I want to do is stop them from happening. Sure, she's right that I should know better than anyone about life being short. My parents were killed in a car accident when I was just a baby, and I was raised by my grandparents. I know how important it is to tell people you love them and live the life you want, because tomorrow isn't promised. The death of my parents fractured so many around me, most of all my Uncle Fraser. It wasn't until Naya and Mina came into his life that he could see what he was missing out on. Before they came along, our family could only see gray. When Fraser found them on the side of the road, suddenly everything was in vivid color. After that, Uncle Fraser was always around, and he's become like a father to me. Which is why I'm not supposed to be in love with Mina. That's his daughter, and we were all raised together. When they had 3 more kids, I never felt like I was being replaced or pushed to the side. Fraser and Naya always included me like I was one of their own, which makes all of this so much more complicated. In the distance, I see Mina turn around and lean against her desk. I groan at the sight of her shirt stretched tight across her chest. For some reason, it feels like she's doing this to personally torture me. She never dressed like this before, but I guess she wasn't working in a professional setting before either. Waiting tables and babysitting didn't exactly require business attire, but I never thought seeing her fully clothed would make me so fucking hard. She's reading a piece of paper, and I watch as the pen she has in her hand slips past her full lips, and my cock throbs. Even from this far away, I can see the glossy shine as her tongue darts out to lick them, and I have to swallow down a moan. Fuck, I say to the empty room, and consider going back to my office to jack off. That's when I see that firefucker Ryan, and my hands clench into fists. She's planning on going on a date with him? Over my dead body. As I storm out of the office, I try to remind myself that murder is not an option. For now. Chapter 3. Mina. I smile when I see Ryan strolling into the station. He's good for a laugh and irritates the hell out of Aspen. It's a double win, really. I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan likes getting a rise out of Aspen, too. I'm sure he gets bored over at the firehouse. It's not as if the sirens are going off every day. Hell, we only had 2 calls this week, and they weren't emergencies. It's always someone that needs help with a project around their house and thinks we're the ideal solution. Sally called saying someone was on the side of her house and she thinks she was having a panic attack. When the fire crew and Aspen got there, they didn't find anything on the side of her house except her trash cans. Sally looked the furthest thing from a panic attack before she asked if someone could take her trash cans to the curb. Aspen shook his head and laughed about it when he retold the story. I remember when he was easygoing like that with me. My little antics would make him smile, which is the only reason I kept it up. Sometimes I'd throw a small fit over something silly and I'd get that handsome smile while he fixed whatever it was I was going on about. Afterwards, he'd call me princess, but he hasn't said that in years. I know he meant it in a sweet way, which is why it always made me melt. He has the ability to make me feel precious with that one word. Are you here to start trouble? I ask Ryan as he walks over. Even the way he walks is flirty. I swear this man is pushing his luck. Not much else to do, he says as he leans up against the counter. You know he can toss you in that cell. I nod towards the one cell I've never actually seen used before. I think if it gets me a date with you, it's worth it. Ryan gives me that smirk that has half the girls in town falling all over him. Too bad it does nothing for me. Ryan knows that, but it doesn't stop him. The man could flirt with a pole. You're not going on a fucking Valentine's Day date, Aspen says from behind me. I didn't hear him leave the office, but I knew it wouldn't take long before he was here to chase Ryan off. As much as I, too, enjoy annoying Aspen, the thrill is fading. Anger is starting to fill that space, and if I'm honest, I know that my anger comes from hurt. It's too bad being mad is easier. We're not, I tell him as I glance over my shoulder in his direction. He doesn't look at me, but keeps on glaring at Ryan. His expression takes me aback because I can tell he's more than pissed this time. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen him this mad. I didn't want to wait until tomorrow, so Mina agreed to go out tonight. Aspen moves, and I barely get my body in front of him before he can make a grab for Ryan. Without thinking, I put my hands on Aspen's chest to stop him, and at the same time, I feel his hands go to my hips. He must be doing it so he doesn't run me down, but his fingers are gripping tight. "You're the new sheriff," I remind Aspen, but I don't think he can hear me. "Your move, Aspen," Ryan says, and then I hear his steps retreating to the door. "Pick you up tonight, Mina," he calls out before making his escape back to the firehouse. "You're not going on a date with him." Aspen's fingers dig into my hips and my lips part. I have to fight not to press my body against his and start moaning. It's what I want more than anything, but I'm not chasing him any longer. I've never tried to hide how I felt for him until after he turned away from my kiss. I hate this, but it's the way it has to be. Aspen. My voice is soft as I trace my finger over his badge. He's always trying to do the right thing, and it's one of the things I love about him. He's a good man, but maybe too good for me. Let me go. I can't. He closes his eyes, and I watch his jaw clench. You have to, I whisper. Please. To my disappointment, he takes a deep breath before releasing his hold on me and stepping back. A lump forms in my throat, and I can't swallow it down. Needing him to let me go and actually wanting it to happen are two different things. I'm actually done for the day, I say quickly as I grab my cardigan and my purse off my chair. I give him one last, long look before I run out of there as fast as my heels will let me. Mina, he calls after me, and I pause with my hand on the door. I wait a few seconds, but he doesn't say anything else, so I walk out and go straight for my car. After I toss my crap inside, I drive out of the lot because I need some time alone. I debate if I should go straight home or go for a drive when I hit the edge of town. I don't get the chance to decide before red and blue lights flash behind me. What the hell is he doing? I say to myself as I pull over and put my car into park. That's it. I've officially hit my limit with Aspen. I'm halfway out of the car and already giving him a piece of my mind. Listen here, you. My words stop coming when I see an intense expression in Aspen's eyes as he stomps in my direction. Too far this time, he growls at me, and it shocks me into taking a step back. Too bad there's nowhere to go, and I bump into my car. What are you? I try to ask, but before I can make a clear question, he grabs my wrists and spins me around. Before I know what is happening, Aspen has his cuffs on me. Aspen, what the hell are you doing? I suggest you stop talking. You're only going to get yourself in more trouble. He scolds as he leads me back to his cruiser and opens the passenger door. Seriously? What in the hell has gotten into him? In, he orders before slapping my ass, and I gape at him. Fine. He's impatient for me to follow orders because he hardly gives me a second to get in before he grabs my hips and lifts me off my feet. I'm in the passenger seat before I can blink, and the next thing I know, he's leaning over me to buckle me in. My breath catches in my throat at how close his face is to mine. I can smell the sweet frosting on his lips from the cinnamon rolls I brought in today. You said you let me go, I remind him, and I'm surprised when my words come out all breathy and nothing like my own. He leans in even closer and barely brushes his lips against mine. I lied, he says easily before he pulls back. You lied? I blink at him, not knowing what's going to happen next. I've been lying long enough. The games are over and your ass is mine, princess, he says before slamming the car door closed. Chapter 4. Aspen. Where are you taking me? Mina demands from the passenger seat. Any shock she had after I touched my lips to hers is long gone. Now that I'm driving, she wants answers. Home, I tell her, and I can feel some of the wind in her sails deflate. Great. The family will get a huge laugh out of this. The eye roll she gives me is epic. Did you not hear what I said? She looks at me with confusion and I shake my head. Your ass is mine, princess. Then why are you taking me to my house? I didn't say I was taking you to your house. I said I was taking you home. That's when I make the turn for the driveway that leads to my house. This is part of the land my grandparents used to own, But after I got out of the academy, I bought it and had a log cabin-style home built on it. I really was lying to myself all those years because I made sure this house was big enough so that we could have a family here. Mina and I together. Maybe I wasn't willing to admit that was my plan, but everything I've done, I made sure there was a space in it just for her. She doesn't say a word as I pull into the driveway and park the cruiser. Once I go around and unbuckle her, I decide to make this easy on the both of us and toss her over my shoulder. She squeals as she tries to kick her feet, but when I smack her on the ass, it calms her down a bit. God damn, how many times have I wanted to do that? Carrying her inside is a treat because the last time she was here was when it was under construction. I knew that having her out here would be dangerous, and I wasn't wrong. As soon as I crossed the threshold, I place her on her feet and pull her against me. "Are you really going to leave me cuffed like this?" she snips, a little bit of fire coming back to her. For now. All I can do is grin at her as I bend down and place my lips on hers. The sound she makes is something like a growl of frustration, but as soon as my tongue licks the seam of her lips, it turns into a moan. Then she opens for me and I use it to my advantage. While my mouth is claiming hers, my hands are moving to the curves of her hips and gripping her close. When my mouth moves down her neck to the soft skin right under her ear, she gasps in surprise. "Aspen, I thought, oh God, right there." I bite the tender spot and then lick it better as I grind against her stomach. "Wait, I thought you didn't want me?" She's almost out of breath as she pants the question, but all I can do is lower to my knees. "Not want you?" The words are bitter in my mouth as I shake my head. "There's nothing I've ever wanted more, Princess." When I'm on my knees, I push her tight pencil skirt up her thighs until I can see her panties. We're barely 10 steps inside the house and I can't keep my hands off her. With my hands on her legs, I push her back a little so that her ass rests on the arm of the sofa. Then I move them between her knees and spread those lush thighs wide. "Are we really doing this?" There's a mix of fear and excitement in her voice as I look up at her. "This was always meant to be, you and me." I hook my finger in the center of her panties and pull them to the side. This was and always will be mine. I bury my face against her pussy because I can't wait a second longer. The first taste of her sweetness drives me wild and I breathe her in. It's like I've been given a shot of adrenaline as I throw her legs over my shoulders and push my face against her as far as I can go. My tongue is everywhere as I lick her clit and then suck on her pussy lips before I dip lower and lick inside. Then I go all the way to her ass and back up, not missing a single inch. The whole time Mina is crying out and saying my name, which only makes me do it more. I'm so hard it hurts, and I think at some point even I whimper. But she tastes so sweet and her pussy feels so good on my tongue I can't stop. "Aspen, I'm going to come. I don't think I should do it on your face," she whines and tries to pull away. An unexpected growl leaves me as my fingers dig into her ass so she can't move a millimeter away. "If you don't come on my face, I'll throw away the fucking key to those cuffs." But... Her protest dies when I suck on her clit and all she can do is sit there and take it. The next thing I know, she's screaming my name and rolling her hips against my face. "That's my girl," I tell her, and then lick her in circles to drag out her orgasm. She rides my tongue as she comes hard, and somehow it gives me a little bit of a release. Of course, my cock begs to differ as it weeps in my pants, but something about making Mina come settles a long need. It's something I've always wanted to do, and now I plan on doing it over and over and over. Before she can fully catch her breath, I'm on my feet and unbuckling my belt. "Need you," is all I can manage to say as my hands shake and I finally free my cock. "I'm right here." Her eyes are hooded, and if I didn't know better, I'd say she looks a little drunk as she spreads her legs in invitation. "You're still not on the pill, are you?" I ask, even as I swipe the head of my cock through her desire. When she shakes her head, I nod. "Good, because I'm fucking you bare." She makes another little whimper as I push inside a few inches, but I manage to hold her still right before I thrust all the way home. Her little cunt is so soft and warm that I have to hold my breath to keep from coming. God damn, that pussy's tight. I groan as I pull out and then hurry back inside. Fuck, princess. You've been keeping it so sweet for me, haven't you? Yeah, she manages to say on a gasp as I thrust in again. That's right. It's not for anybody else but me, is it? Only yours, she agrees as I fuck her hard and steady. I want to fuck you until everyone knows you're taken because you walk like you've got my cum between your legs. Oh, God. She clenches around me and her eyes close in pleasure as I reach between us. I'm going to keep you on my cock until you can't sit down without wondering why I'm not inside you. My thumb strokes her clit as I bury myself deep and she starts to come. That's it, princess. Milk it out of me so it goes right where it needs to. Aspen. She pulses around my cock as I fill her up, and when her orgasm is over, her body is limp. I think it's time to take those cuffs off, I say, then kiss her lips and reach behind her back. This time I want your hands on me. Chapter 5. Mina. Aspen. When I roll over and reach my arm out, I find his side of the bed empty. My eyes fly open in a moment of panic because I've had so many dreams of being together only to wake up alone. The last time it happened was a year ago after he shut down. That's when I thought we'd never be together in the way that I always dreamed of since I was a little girl. Before that, I welcomed all those dreams. Sitting up, I pull the blanket around me and I feel a tenderness between my legs. That should be all I need to know that last night wasn't a dream. Okay, so where the hell did he go? About that time, a door opens, revealing Aspen, who is fully dressed. Shit, he mutters, making that panic I felt just moments ago rush back. Is he having doubts? Please don't. I'm sorry, princess, he hurries to say. I thought I'd make it back before you woke up. He walks over to where I'm standing and pulls me in his arms. When did you start getting up so early? Before I can say anything, his fingers sink into my hair and then he's kissing me. I guess he doesn't want an answer to his question. Wrapping my arms around his neck, I manage to pull him down onto the bed with me. It's obvious he let me do it, but it still makes me smile. You're sorry for not being in bed with me? I ask before running my finger down his jaw. I'm in love with his morning scruff. I'm always sorry when I'm not in bed with you, he says, and then smiles against my lips. I thought maybe... I glance away. Don't do that. He turns my face back towards him. We're not hiding from each other. Not anymore. I've never hidden, Aspen. I think I've been pretty clear on where I stood. I know. He drops his forehead to mine. You've been driving me insane my whole life. Hey, I huff. I promise it's one of the many things I love about you, princess. Love about me? I repeat, and he lifts his head. I think it's clear I've loved you my whole damn life. Well, it hasn't been clear to me. I push at his chest, but he doesn't budge. It was obvious that I loved you and not how I love my family. I made a fool out of myself. You've never been a damn fool, Mina. Not once. If anyone has been a fool, it's me. I thought you were being your normal sweet self until you tried to kiss me. Tried. I roll my eyes to make him think I'm annoyed about that instead of hurt. You were still a minor. I was in the police academy, he growls. I guess I never thought about that, but he's not wrong. Aspen has always looked out for everyone. It's who he is. From the start, he has been a good man, and it doesn't surprise me that it's why he wouldn't let it go any further. So you would have kissed me? It's the only fucking thing that stopped me that day. Then I couldn't stop thinking about it when I realized you really wanted something to happen between us. He lets out a long breath. Then I got in my head about everything our families have been through. Aspen lost the most when his parents died because they were so loving and important to his family. I don't remember mine, which I've been told is a good thing. Aspen, I whisper as the realization starts to settle in and any anger I felt melts away. I didn't want to blow our family up. I was scared it was just a crush on your end. I was already so in love with you that I was terrified to risk it." He shakes his head. "So what then? You were going to let me go and marry—" "Finish the sentence and I'll spank your ass, princess." I giggle, not the least bit scared of Aspen. "It's clear what would have happened if you brought anyone home. We saw that yesterday and I knew it was too late. There's no going back now, but there never was to begin with." "I love you, Aspen." "I love you too, princess." He leans down, pressing his lips to mine. "Still might kill Ryan," Aspen says between kisses. "I wasn't going to date him." I laugh. "You scare off anyone who wants to date me." "That didn't give you a clue about my obsession with you?" "Obsession? I kind of like the sound of that." "Have you ever had to scare any girls away from me?" "No." I narrow my eyes at him. Thankfully, I'd never had to deal with any of that. It would have killed me to see Aspen with someone else. "Why? Was there—" "Fuck no. It's only ever been you." "I don't know. You were pretty good at hiding that you were into me." "Really?" he counters. Then I begin to play back the past few years, and a lot of things make sense. It's why he turned into a grumpy jerk and was always warning boys away from me. He was also around all the time, but still at a distance. When I did my training in the city, did we really run into each other by chance all the time? "Nope." He smirks. "Told you, princess. Obsessed," he says, and I pull him down for another kiss. "Too many clothes," I complain as I tug at his shirt. "Why are you even dressed to begin with? What was so important you had to get out of bed?" "It's Valentine's Day." He lifts me in his arms and carries me down the hallway towards the kitchen. "I forgot about that," I say sheepishly before smiling wide when I see he's made breakfast. There are roses everywhere, and he walks through them to sit me down at the dining room table. After that, he drops down to his knees beside me. "I saw this 2 years ago and it made me think of you. I bought it without a second thought," he tells me as he takes a small box out of his pocket and opens it. When he turns it to face me, I see a large heart-shaped diamond and I gasp. "That's a—" "Marry me." He says it like an order while he takes my hand and slips it on my finger. Of course it's a perfect fit. "You're not asking me, are you?" "Nope." "Good." I throw myself at him and he catches me before falling back on the floor in the pile of rose petals. Then I have a thought and sit up. "Did you ask my parents?" "I did. Not that it mattered." "What did they say?" I don't think my mom would care because I'm pretty sure she suspects how I feel about Aspen. It's Fraser I worry about. "They said it was about damn time." Aspen grins, and now I'm smiling too. This man is my whole world. "Happy Valentine's Day, princess." Epilogue. Aspen. "Shh, be quiet," I whisper in Mina's ear as I grip her hips from behind. "I'm trying," she moans and spreads her legs wider. It's our wedding day, so it's not like this wasn't bound to happen. I just planned on doing this after the ceremony was over. But one look at her in that damn dress and all bets were off. Seeing her tits swollen and barely fitting in the dress when they did a few months ago made my cock ache. Only our immediate family knows she's pregnant, but I have a feeling the cat is going to be out of the bag once the audience gets a good look at her. "Fuck, you're so wet," I grunt and thrust in again. "You're softer, too." It's all I can do not to nut in her after 2 pumps, but I can feel she's getting closer and I hold off. "Shit, don't do that." Her pussy clenches around my dick, and then she has the audacity to push her ass back for more. "Please, Aspen, I'm so close." "God damn it, princess." I close my eyes tight and grind against her as her pussy grips me like a fist. She's so warm and slick that every inch of my dick is throbbing with need, and I won't last much longer. "That's it," she hisses, and the next thing I know she's forcing me to come with her. I bang my fist against the wall as she milks my cum out of me in waves. I forget all about being quiet or the 200 guests we've got waiting for us a short distance away. We're in the back of the church in a closet, but it's not like it's exactly private. I'm not sure if she's louder than I am because all I hear is the blood pumping in my ears. It's a hot rush, and when it's over, we're both panting for breath. That's all your fault, I tell her, and then I reluctantly pull out of her warmth. I can see I've left a trail of cum between her thighs, and I grin as I take her panties and tuck them into my pocket. My fault? Mina looks shocked as she lowers her dress and tries in vain to smooth out all the wrinkles we just put in it. You're the one that saw my tits and went crazy. Exactly. It's your fault for having such magnificent tits. I pull her close, then bury my face in her cleavage and lick between them. Scoundrel, she teases, and I smile. You love it. I kiss her lips, this time going slower and softer. And I love you. I love you too, she says back, and then there's a loud banging on the door. If you two are finally finished in there, we're all waiting, someone says on the other side of the door, and Mina's eyes widen. It's Ryan, she hisses. At first I think about killing him, but he's here because he must have heard me fucking my almost wife, and that feels like a win for me. At least it's not my aunt, or worse, my uncle, coming to tell us to get a move on. We'll be right out, I say through the door, and Mina lets out a nervous giggle. I can't believe we just had sex in a church, she tells me while straightening my bow tie. I think being pregnant before the wedding might cancel that out, I tease, and she rolls her eyes. Where are my panties? She looks around on the ground, and I shrug. No clue, but we need to go. Aspen, I can't get married without panties on. She's pulling on my arm, even as I open the door and drag her out. Next thing you'll tell me is you can't get married with my cum on the inside of your thighs. But it's happening, princess. I give her a wink, and she makes the most adorable growl of frustration. Everyone is going to know. She bows her head as I lead her down the long hallway that takes us back to where we were supposed to be. That I fucked you in the closet? Probably, but like I said, it's your fault. I'm trying to poke at her just a little so she's not stressing out over all the people here. If she's a tiny bit mad at me, then she won't be thinking about all eyes being on her. You're trying to distract me, she huffs and squeezes my hand. Thank you. It's my job. I bring her hand to my mouth and kiss the palm, and I can feel some of the tension leaving her. There you are. Naya comes rushing over when she sees the two of us. Everyone is waiting. She looks at Mina's flushed cheeks and wrinkled dress and then turns to me. I told you to keep your hands to yourself until after the ceremony. She smacks me on the arm, and I pretend to be injured. I think I might go find Sheriff Angela in the crowd and report a crime. I rub the spot on my arm, and she rolls her eyes. The only crime happening here is if you two don't get your asses down the aisle because we've got 50 pounds of shrimp on ice. Point us in the right direction, I tell her. Then she finally smiles and grabs Mina's bouquet off the nearby table. You look so beautiful, Naya tells Mina, and they have a quick hug. Fraser comes over right then and gives her a hug too. Ready? He asks Mina, and she nods. She asked Fraser to walk her down the aisle, and the big man might have shed a tear or two. I guess I'll see you down front, Mina says to me. I'm counting down the seconds. I kiss her one last time before she officially becomes my forever. Thankfully, it only took 273 seconds before I got her back in my arms. From now on, she's never getting away. This has been A Valentine to Remember by Alexa Riley, read for you by Avi Page.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, lady listeners. Thank you so much to Alexa Riley. That's me and you. Thanks to me, bitches. Thanks so much for being on the podcast with us. Let's see. Who do we have up next week? Oh, I believe we have Margot Scott. Is that who we have next? We do. We have Margot Scott with In Too Deep. She'll be up next week on the podcast. We are so excited. If you have not seen, I'll tell you who we have coming up. And you're probably not even going to remember this, and I probably won't either. But we've got Alexa Riley, Margot Scott, Melina Jax, Rebel Carter, Sylvia Haas, Sky Warren, Rebecca Hefner, Brad James, Kenya Wright, Kate Tenley, Lucy Eden, Dakota Rebel, Abby Knox, Kate Nolan, Lenore Solis, Jenna Kent, Rochelle Page, Angela Maria Hart, Liz Durano, Evie Mitchell, Rosie Marie, Katie Rios, Jillian Lolita, Mindy Page, Alira, Anya, Laura John, Ayla Asher, Lydia Michaels, Alexa Riley. That's it. Woo! That's what I've got for the year so far.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So that's it. Just buckle up. We got a lot coming.
All right. I guess tell them what to do.
Fuck your day up. Make today your bitch. Don't be a dick.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Read me romance. Read